What is up, members of my collector corps? It is I, Super Mariozilla, or you can call me Vinny, and today we will be taking a look at the Super 7 Toho Ultimates Godzilla -1. The figure was revealed, I believe, a month after the Monster Arts cousin released, and Monster Arts was already a disaster, and when the promo images for the Super 7 version came out, it looked really good, better than your average Super 7 Godzilla Ultimates figure. The details were there, the colors seemed to be there, and the articulation is an improvement over previous figures. Sure, the head not having a hinged jaw was annoying, but not the worst thing in the world. The tail seemed to have better articulation than previous figures. Godzilla could have and should have been an excellent release. It had all the ingredients to be awesome, but in the end, spoiler warning, we did not get what was advertised. The movie's director oversaw development of the figure too, and it still ended up botched in the final product. Anyway, despite what I've said, is this still worthy of a spot on your Godzilla shelf? Sit back, relax, and I'll go over if it should have a spot or not. Alright, Sculpt looks awesome. The best looking Sculpt in the Super 7 Ultimates line so far. I'm dead serious. The Sculpt work is phenomenal. Maybe the head is a little too cartoony, but overall it really is a nice looking Sculpt. I love the detail he rocks. It all looks solid. From the body to the dorsal plates to the tail, it all has fantastic details. Amazing. I can't say the same for the paint job. The paint job is very muddy and messy, and it is very heavy on the head. Why did they go so heavy with the dry brushing? It looks so weird, like he's wearing a makeup mask. The open mouth head ain't much better, and the teeth paint on the open mouth head is worse, and so are the eyes. I thought this was bad on Monster Arts, but it seems Super 7 wants to copy them. And the open mouth head still has the mask problem too. The paint on the body is not consistent. It looks very muddy and messy. The shoulders and the arms have more paint than the lower arms. It doesn't look good. The feet have more of the muddy paint than the legs. Why does the paint look like this? I complained that the Monster Arts paint did not match the prototype and was too heavy-handed, but at least it was more consistent. Granted, Super 7 is cheaper at an $85 MSRP, but even for $85, it should still look better, and this doesn't match how Godzilla looked in the promo images. Does it look like how it matches in the promos? I know the promo pictures had a digital model of the figure, but if that's what was advertised, why weren't we given what was advertised? The dorsal plates sculpt-wise look amazing, but the paint is still too heavy and not consistent with the rest of the lower plates. It looks so odd. Why are there so many inconsistencies in the paint? I'm sorry, I'm saying that word a lot, but it's true. Why isn't this better? I don't mean to get hung up on this, but I had high expectations for this figure, so I can't help but be let down. Overall, Godzilla doesn't look great. Sculpt is incredible, it is fantastic. The paint? Not so much. It is not clean looking.
I should mention this right now. Super 7's articulation is not going to top Monster Arts, and this figure does not top the Monster Arts. So, articulation is going to be limited compared to how Monster Arts poses, and I know we're going to compare this to Monster Arts a lot, so let's see what he's got. Head is on a double ball peg, and the neck, I think, is also on a double ball peg, or just a regular ball peg, but either way, can look this high up, can look this far down, plenty of wiggle. Can look side to side. Cool stuff. The waist is on a double ball peg. Can crunch forward just about this far forward, backward, this far back, and can lean. Not bad. Arms are on a swivel hinge, so they can swivel, full 360. They can also hinge to about 90 degrees, but I'm not going to chance that because what I mentioned earlier about the scraped up plastic, because there's already damage on this shoulder. You can see the plastic was shaved off if you can see the green. Yeah, so hinging it upward too far Prepare to have a damaged figure. Oh, I just damaged it even more. That's nice. Biceps can swivel. Elbows are also on a swivel for some reason, but they're on a single hinge. They can hinge all the way forward, just about 90 degrees. And hands are on a swivel hinge. Legs are on ball joints. Can kick them forward, just about this far forward without putting them at an angle, this far back without putting them on an angle. Can not do the splits. Knees are on a hinge, so they can hinge back just about this far. And ankles are on a swivel hinge. Can hinge this far back, hinge this far forward, and of course we have ankle rocker. Not bad. Tail. I'll explain that in a bit. It's on a series of ball joints, so he can curve better than other Godzilla figures, but not by much. Not by much. It's not Monster Arts movement, and it will never be Monster Arts movement. It can curve nicely, realistically, for -1, but again, it's not going to be much. Anyway, this socket is not deep enough for this ball joint, and as a result, the socket keeps scraping and grinding against the plastic, shaving it off, meaning the connection is going to get looser and looser over time the more I mess with this tail. So in other words, this ball joint with the socket is damaging itself slowly but surely to the point where it's probably not going to be able to hold the ball joint anymore. So yeah, use the tail with caution and handle it with caution, because that's a terrible way to do the tail. You should have made the socket deeper for the ball joint, because the way it is, look at all that scraped up plastic, if you can see it. If you see green, you know it's scraped up plastic. Yeah. So articulation is not the best, and it is engineered flawed because you ruin the figure by messing with it, like in the shoulders and the tail. So yeah, the figure is slowly damaging itself the more you pose it, so that's always nice for $85. Yeah, so that's not good. This is the part where I talk about accessories, but let's be real, this roaring head does not count as an accessory. So we're just gonna move on.
Here's a size comparison with other figures you may or may not own. This is my second Super 7 Godzilla Ultimates figure, so I don't have a lot to compare him to. So here he is with the standard 6-inch and 7-inch Godzilla figures. Super 7 is around the 8-inch scale, so he's not going to scale great with other monsters from other lines, only within Super 7s. So yeah, be aware of that. Godzilla is a weird release. I'd like to say more good than bad here, but I have nothing to say. That's all, folks. This figure is there, and in ways, as much as I hate to admit it because I really wanted this to be the better option, but this is worse than the Monster Arts for sure. That's the more preferable figure. Even if the Monster Arts didn't exist, I wouldn't say this is a good figure anyway, because it's kind of not. And the fact the figure damages itself the more you pose it at the tail and the shoulders is ridiculous, especially for that price. I can't pose it without the plastic scraping against itself. The paint is not clean, the articulation is a letdown at the tail, no hinged jaw, which is really starting to be a problem at this point. Like, even if my expectations were lower, I'd still be let down. This figure is an atomic, epic fail! 3 out of 10, don't buy this figure, it's not worth it. I'm done here, I'll see you next time.